Hello everyone, welcome to Ajiro Tech. Ajiro Tech. In this video, we're going to be looking at the Cambridge International AS and A-Level Information Technology with the course code 9626, variant 02. Paper 2 practical, October-November 2023. Duration for the whole paper is 2 hours 30 minutes. Instructions are important, so please go through the instructions. Total mark is 90, so let's get this started. So in this video, we're looking at the spreadsheet. Okay, yes. You have been supplied with the following source file. These are the files you have been supplied with. You would create a spreadsheet for a quantity surveyor to calculate the amount of concrete required from the foundation of a wall or building. So it could be any form of building, trying to give a picture, okay, or walls. Try to give it pictures. Okay. Forgive my drawing, really. All right. All right. Don't laugh, right? You must use the most efficient method to solve each task. All document produced must be of a professional standard and suit the business context. All costs must be displayed. Take note, all costs must be displayed in what? In dollars. With this symbol here. 1 meter is equals to 100 millimeter. So take note of that. Okay, so obviously 2 meters will be what? 2000, right? Millimeter. Okay. Create a spreadsheet that looks like this. Merge cells as shown. Center align all cells. Center align all cells in column B and F. Okay, so this is noted. So this is what I'm going to do. Place your name, center number, candidate number in the merge cell E2 to G2. So they let you know that this is merged. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do to make it faster. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Good. So create a spreadsheet that looks like this. So I'm going to open my spreadsheet, Excel, and we're using Excel for our spreadsheet. Blank workbook. So I have this blank workbook. Okay, I can just do this. All right, that's fine. So I'll come here and paste it, right? Or you can right click and then you paste, right? So just paste. So I'm just going to reduce this. Come here, reduce it. So it becomes faster. So I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'll come here. So this is going to be what? QS dash assist. And what's the QS here? Take note, they said what? Quantity surveyor. So we're assisting the quantity surveyor. Assist. Okay, just one assist. Okay. Then I have what are you constructing? Okay. So I have this in E2. Okay, E2 by my name, Joe Andy, comma. My center number is AN017, comma 2025. This is since I'm doing it 2025. So I have this. And what else? So let me just do the first one so we have an idea what we're working with. So this is what A1 to G1. A1 to G1 and it's merged and center. Now, what do you notice here? Let me increase the font size so we can have an idea. What do you notice here? Look at it's not the same font. Can you see that? Look at the T here. Look at the Q here. So what font is this? Can you tell me in the comment section? Yeah, is what? Your sans serif, which is area. Good. So look at it. Can you see that? So you need to have an eye for this. And then you have what? Black, and then the font is white. Let me increase it to see how it is. Okay. So I think for now I'll stop. And then here as well, this is A2 to C2. A2 to C2. What happened here? Merge and center. And this is black and then white. And what do you notice here? Look at it the same. Look at the G. So I think the G here, the G here. So everything here is sans serif. So to what? To 18. So I'm just going to highlight everything here to 18. And then I'll make it what? Area. Okay. Okay. So I've made everything to what? Area. So I'll put this here. And then here as well. E2 to G2. Merge as center. And why are we doing that? Because look at it. Look at what they said here. What other? We have to place your name set number in E2 to what? G2. So we're doing that. So I'm going to bold it. Done. Then look at the D. The D is closed. Like this. Okay. All right. Then the next one I'm having is what? Free. The F is freestanding wall. Okay. Then building. Okay. Both these are what? Right align. And this was like this. The space here. Okay. The next one is what? Soil and climate data entry. So I'm going to merge a center, make it black, make it white. And this is also bolded. Can you see that? It's bolded. Okay, so the next one is what? Soil type, the soil type, and then climate type. Okay, and I'll make it right align. All right. Then the next one is what? Cost calculator for what? The free standing brick walls. So I'm going to highlight this, black, white, and I'm going to merge and center. So you can see that they are merge and center. So here, I'm going to look at the way B is. I'm going to do that. The weight of that B column is increased. Okay. And I'll make this bold. And then the next one I have here is 10 here is free standing wall data entry. So I'm going to merge and center, black, white, bold, and here is what? Length. Length of wall. Notice this is what? Right align. This is 2. Enter in meters. Now, what do you notice here in this one? This is here, center line. This is center line, right? This also is center line. Now, look at it. So I'm going to increase this a bit. Right? This is right align. The next one is what? Foundation. Foundations. And then we have footings. So I'll highlight this. Merge and center. Bold, black. and then white. The background color is black, and then the text is white, and then I'll make it bold. Then the next one is what? The width. Okay, the depth, the length, the volume, and then we have what? The concrete cost. So this is about building. So I'm going to make it right. You can see it there, right. And then we have here in meters. Again, in meters, and this is cubic meters. Okay, so we have that. So this has been done. Then we're going to do it here as well. Look at this. We're going to do it here. So here under 8, I have what? Cost calculator. Rectangular buildings. So I'm going to highlight this. E8 to G8, merge and center, bold, black, and white. Now, look at what is here. If you notice that the E, the width is increased, the F is increased a lot, the G is increased. Okay, so I'll come here to what? F10 to G10. So data entry. Data entry. I'm going to highlight, merge and center. The background is black, white, bold. Then I have what? Length of building, width of building, okay. So now I have to adjust this a bit. Still adjust it, because this is going to be what? Right. I'm looking at the space here. I think I can just adjust it a bit. Okay, that's fine. Then here is center. So 4, 3. I made the center, and come here. This is what? Left. Enter in meters. I would have paused, but I want you to see everything so you can follow through. The next one is what? Foundations. And then we have the footing. I will highlight this. Merge and center. Black, white, bold. And here, what do I have? I have the width. I have the depth. Okay, I know what you're thinking. I know, it's fine. Just copy and paste. Thank you. Okay, copy and then paste. Why? Because they are both the same thing. Okay, so that is done. I think we're done with let me just reduce it a bit and then bring it here. So I think, so there's a Y here, an uppercase Y. Okay, what are you constructing? And then we have buildings, right? Okay, length, this, foundations, footing. Okay, so I think we have rectangular buildings, data entry. Okay, I think we've done everything here. So the next thing I want to do is just to add a border. Okay, so come here, just border. This one is basic, really. Just add just a simple border, really. And then we have this. Okay, so that is done. Okay, so I think we've done everything here. Yes, so I can delete this. Now look at the C. the C to E. Okay, it all depends on the B and F, so that's fine. So I'll delete this. Okay, so this has been done. Okay, center align all cells in B and F, so they are all centered. Oh, I didn't do this. Important to always check. And this as well. I didn't do this. Center, 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 and then center. Okay, so that's done. All right, so this has been done. And there were values here, 4, 3, and 2, and then Y. So merge, center align, yes, place, done, your name, and then let's save this. So this is going to save your spreadsheet with the file name QSA, that's quality surveyor assist. That's what it means, followed by your center number underscore candidate number. So I'm just going to copy this. Okay, file, save as, browse, look for where it is here. Okay, 2023, October, November. Okay, so I'm going to paste this here. And then my center number is what? AN017. My candidate number is 2025. Why? Because I'm doing this video now. I know. So let's look at this. Examine the data in the files. So let's examine that. Oh, okay. I was wondering why I couldn't find it. Examine data in the files. So I've not extracted. We didn't need to at that time because we had to create a blank one. So I'm going to extract all, extract. So done. So I can just close it, it's fine. So I can just move it here. Okay, just move it here. Okay, that's fine. So I can open it. Okay, and then what else? So I'm going to open the climate. I'm going to open the soil. They say we should examine. So this is the soil here. Click here to select all. Take a cursor here, double click. So this here is showing you the soil type, the width and depth. Take note of this, that it is in millimeters. Okay, so we might have to do some conversions. All right. Now look at what this X shows. They say the X shows the soil is unsuitable for strip foundation. That way, whenever you see this X, it means the soil is unsuitable for what the strip foundation. That's why you're having this X here. Okay. Then this is the climate. Okay, climate for region where the buildings will take place. So these are the climate types and the frost factors. Okay. Import these files into your workbook. Right, into the workbook to your work with this into this workbook using appropriate worksheet name. The data in this worksheet will be used by formulas you create in your main spreadsheet. So what we are simply saying that we're going to copy this. So I'm going to select yes, just select all, and then copy. Then come here to your main work, create a new worksheet. So this is going to be what? Soil. Right? Just right click and rename. The first one here is going to be what? QSA. Right? So I can just put the name to this worksheet as QSA. Right click, rename QSA. Why are we giving QSA? Because that's the name of the word, QSA, right? So I'll come here to the soil and I will just Control V to paste it, right? Under the soil worksheet. Take note, under the soil worksheet. All right. Then the next one is what? Climate. So I'll click it, select all, copy it. I'm right clicking here. Then come here to right here, the plus to create a new worksheet, or you can go to right here, insert sheet, whichever one you want to do. more options for you, and then click on the plus, right click, rename, and then call it climate, and then you can just paste, Ctrl V to paste. So that's done. So now I can close all this, the climate, don't save. Yeah, that's fine. Then come here to the soil, close it, don't save. So now we have all of them inside this workbook. All right. Format the Fox factor data as percentage value. So here under the Fox factor, that is your climate. So we need to format this as what? As what? A percentage what? Value. So I'm going to highlight, come here to percentage, done. So this has been what? Sorted. Done, done. Are we learning? In the worksheet created in step 1, okay, make sure, okay, step 1, okay, done. Make sure that cells B3 and B4 can only contain a blank cell or the letter Y in upper or lower case. So we are now restricting this cell to either a blank cell or the letter Y in upper or lower case. So that is done by what we call what? Data what? Validation. So take note, data validation. Okay, data validation. So let's do that. So what I will do here is I'll come here, highlight B3 and B4, and then go to click on what? Data. Under data tools, come here to data validations, change this to what? List. You can see ignore blank, right? So blank is part of them. So I have here on my list Y in uppercase, comma, a Y in lowercase. All right. Add appropriate text for the user. So this simply means you are informing the user what to enter. So I'll come here to input message, enter Y, enter letter Y or Y. Okay, so enter uppercase. Let me just do uppercase. Okay, uppercase Y or lowercase y. Okay. Then what else? Do not include a drop down menu. So I'll come here, uncheck in cell drop down, and then click on what? Okay. So enter uppercase Y or lowercase y. So I can enter anyone here. Okay. Okay. So that means if I enter something like D, for example, you can see it's not working. If I enter E, it's not working. If I enter uppercase E, it's not working. Okay, so done. All right. In cell B6 and B7, B6 and B7, okay? Make sure the user can select from drop-down list the soil type and climate type. Use the worksheet imported in step 2. So we're going to use the worksheet imported in step 2. So they can be able to select. So there's going to be a drop-down. So when they come here, they can be able to select what the soil type that is found here, right? And when they come here to climate type, they can be able to select what the climate type found what here. So what we're going to use here is a data validation. So I'll click here, data here, under data tools, data validation, come here to what? List, and then right here, under the source, click on it, and then come here to what? Soil, highlight the soil type. Click on what? Okay. Click on okay. So now we have them as what? As list. Can you see that? Okay, so I can delete it to leave it blank. I'll do the same thing for climate type. Data, under data tools, data validation, switch it to list, and then right here, come here to climate, choose the climate type. So I'll click on OK and then click on OK. So now I have it. Now, the next thing they're asking here is the fact that they said, okay, so this has been done a lot, and you're like, okay, do you have a private tuition? Don't you have? Do you have? And yes, Ajiro Tech do have a private tuition. So by my right, you can see that we have for the EdExcel and Cambridge IGCSE, and yes, we do have for all subjects. Okay, all subjects. Okay, the popular ones that's always been in demand is mathematics, English language as a second language. Okay, we have physics, we have biology, we have chemistry, and we have you know the flagship, which is ICT, just here and there. We also have business studies. So if you're interested for a private tuition, I think all you have to do is send an email to the sales team at ajirotech@gmail.com, and they would reply to you, talk about your time zone, talk about, and the fee is really quite affordable. Really, it's really quite affordable. It's when you look at it across other tutoring service, I think this is the one that's quite affordable, and you get the very best of service. We also have for the E levels as well, and also for the EdExcel. So we have for the Cambridge E levels and EdExcel E levels. Okay, and we have also across the subject mathematics, which is usually the hot cake when it comes to E level, mathematics and chemistry, and then biology. These are usually one of the ones we have in demand always, all the time. Even physics, for E level. So all you have to do, if you're watching this right now and you are interested for a private tuition, then you can do yourself a solid, okay, and send an email to the sales team at ajiro@gmail.com, and they will reply to you. They say enter a function in cell B14. B14, okay, to look up. So I'm using a lookup function, the width of the footing in meters. Use the soil data imported in step 2. If you go to step 2, what is they say this is the soil we have imported into our main worksheet, right, into your workbook. So they expect that. So they're always reminding you of that. Okay, so we're going to look up the width of the footing in meters. Take note, they were specific here in meters. So we need to look up, right, the width of the footing. So if you come here, right, we want to know the width here. Okay, so here we're going to use the lookup, which is equals to what? X lookup. We're going to use X lookup. So what is going to be my lookup value? Now look at what they said. They said use the soil data, right, to look up the depth of the width. Use the soil what? Look at it. Use the soil data, right? So here I'm going to use the soil type, comma. What is my lookup array? My lookup array here, I will go to soil, and it's going to be everything here. Okay, comma. What am I going to return? I'm going to return what? The width. And then I'll close it and hit on what? Enter. Now, that's because I don't have anything. So let me choose something so you can see it. Gravel, so you can see it. Now, I'm not done yet, right? I'm not done yet. So I'm just going to use VLOOKUP and then I'll continue. I can also use VLOOKUP. So equals to VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP, this is my lookup value, comma. My table array is going to be everything here. Okay. What are we returning? The second one. Of course, your lookup value must be the first one. So the second one. And this is going to be what? An exact match. So you can see the same thing. Okay. So I'll just undo and leave it in my X lookup. Right. So now look at what they said in meters. I did the VLOOKUP to show you how you can do both of them. In meters, Now, what are we going to do? Let's go back to the very beginning. Now, they said 1 meter is equals to what? 1000 millimeter. So if we are to convert it back to meter, this is going to be 1000 divided by 1000. And you have what? 1 meter. Now, if it's 2000 millimeter, how do we get 2 meters? This will be 2000 divided by what? 1000. And this is going to give you what? 2 what? Meter. So that is the concept here. So we need to now divide to get this. So here, I'm going to what? Divide it by what? You can just, on the formula, or come here to formula bar, whichever you want to use, divide it by what? 1000. And then you have it what? Now in meters. Does that make sense? All right. So we're going to do the same thing here. Are we learning? They said enter a function in cell B15. This is B15. So you can use lookup or VLOOKUP to look up the depth of the footing in meters. Right? Use the soil data imported in step 2. So let's come here. So equals to lookup. The lookup value is going to be what? The soil, comma. What's going to be the lookup array? This is going to be this. Okay, comma. Now we're looking for what? The depth. So I'm going to highlight this. All right, and I will hit on what? Enter. So now I have this. Okay, so now I'm going to do what? Divide by what? 1000 to make it what? In meters. So this is done. This is done. Edit the formula placed in step 6 to increase the depth of the footing. The depth of the footing by the force factor percentage. Use the climate data imported in step 2. So what we are doing here is this, right? The depth of the footing, they gave us a formula, is equals to the value depending on the soil type. Okay, so the value depending on the types, this value depending on the soil type is this. Look at it, value depending on the soil type, right? So done, times in bracket 1 plus the force factor percentage, which is going to be what? Now we need to, which is right here in what? In the climate. So this is going to be what? X lookup. So what is going to be what? The lookup value. I said what? Use the climate data. So this is going to be what? The lookup value, comma. The lookup value, the lookup array here is going to be this. The climate type, comma. What do you want to return? This is what we want to return. Okay, so that was why we're having that error. And there's a comma here. Let me see. It's fine. A parenthesis here to close this, and then okay, this to close this. Okay, so that's fine. Done. So hope you understand. So what I did here is the fact that we want to look up the force factor. You can use your VLOOKUP to do that as well. So we have the lookup value, which is this, and then for the lookup array is going to be this, and then return array is going to be this. Now we don't have anything here showing NA, because if you come here to choose this, we now have something here, right? Okay. So this is done. Hope you understand. Step 8, enter a formula in cell B16. Cell B16, okay, to calculate the length of the footing in meters. The length of the footing is length of the wall plus width of the wall minus 0.1. 0.1. Length of that equals to length of the wall, plus width of the footing. This is the width of the footing here, minus 0.1. So that's done. Okay, so this is done. Step 9, enter a formula in cell B17. Okay, to calculate the volume of the footing rounded up to the nearest 0.1 m3. This means cubic meters. So the volume here is what? Width times depth times length. So equals to what? Width times depth times length. So I have this. Okay, width times depth times length. They said rounded up to the nearest 0.1 cubic meters. Now, so here, rounded up. So I'm going to use round up. Right? The nearest cubic meters, right? That 0.1 means, this 0.1 means cubic meter. The nearest cubic meter is what? Is 1. Okay? So we have this. So we have it as what? Round up. Right? Rounded up. So round up. All right. So hope this is clear. Place formula in cell F14 and F15. F14 and F15. They said place formula to copy the data. Formula to copy the data from B14 and B15. So it has to be a formula to copy B14 and B15. So the formula is, every formula begins with what? Equals to. So this, and then this. Oh, you didn't know that's the formula? That's the formula, because formula begins with what? Equals to. Hope we're learning. Okay. So this is done. Enter a formula in cell F16 to calculate the length of the rectangular footing in meters. Okay, so rectangular, to calculate what? The length of the rectangular footing in meters. The length of the footing is 2 times, so equals to 2 times, and this is what? F16. Length of the building, so I will do this. Length of the building, this. What else? Plus width of the building. Okay, so I'll close it. Minus 0.4. Okay, so I hit on what? Enter. Okay, so this is done. Hope we're learning. Enter a formula in F17. F17 is here. Look at it. You have the name box to always show you where you are. To calculate the volume of the footing rounded up to the nearest what? Cubic meters. So it's almost the same thing. So this is equals to what? Width times depth times length. Right? So you have this, and then we're rounding it up. So here equals to what? Round up. Okay, and then what numbers of digits? 1. Done. So round up takes everything to what? It takes everything to what? To plus 1. All right. So this is done. Step 13. Enter a formula in B18 and F18. Okay. So B18 and F18. To calculate the cost of the concrete. We want to know the cost of the concrete. Rounded to. So we're using round. The function round. Rounded to and display to the nearest. So that's round. Nearest dollar. Okay. the concrete cost, they say cost of the concrete. The concrete cost is this per cubic meters. So we want to know the cost of the concrete, right? So for us to be able to know the cost of the concrete, we also need to know what? The volume. So we're going to use the volume to be able to know what? The cost. Okay? Because we want to know the cost of the concrete. So here, we're not having what? The volume. Look at what they said. They said per cubic meters. So this is the volume per cubic meters. We want to know the cost. If you're using 1.5 per cubic meters, what will be the concrete cost? So here you have equals to what? This times 124 point 3654. That correct? Now look at this. Done. They said rounded to and displayed to the nearest dollar. So I'm going to use what? Round. Okay, so round here, the nearest dollar will just be 0. Done. I'm going to do the same thing here. So this is going to be equals to the volume of the cubic meters times 124.3854. Just trying, I hope it's correct. 3654, sorry. 3654. 124.3654. And then hit on enter. Come here. Then round. And then this is going to be what? The nearest. So this is it here. Now, they said, look at what they said. All cost must be displayed in dollars. So take note. All cost must be displayed what? In dollars. So we'll come here and then I will click on this, hold my control, click on this. Then come here to home, under numbers, the settings for that. Then I have currency. Symbol here is what? United States. And of course, this is decimal place is going to be 0. So now I have it. Currency, take note. All right, so that is done. Edit the formula placed in step 5 to 13. So if the soil is not suitable for strip foundation, appropriate messages are displayed in these cells. Now, what they are trying to say here is this. Now, let me show what they're trying to say here is this. Now, there are some soils that were not suitable. So, for example, look at this. We have, let me come here to soil. We have chalk soft. We have sandy clay. So let me use that. So let's choose sandy clay. The soil here. Sandy clay. Now, look at what they said. They said, so that if the soil is not suitable for strip foundation, appropriate messages. So instead of this error that we are having, right, it will now give us an appropriate message. So what we need to do here is that we need to trap the error. We need to trap that error. So by trapping this error, this is what we are going to do here. So I'll come here to say, okay, if error, that's what the if error does, right? It returns the value of error with what? With something. So if they have an error, what do we do? So here, the value of error would now be, comma, so I'll copy this. Soil not suitable for strip foundation. So I'll copy this. Soil not suitable. So I'll put this in quote and I will paste it. Put it in quote and close it. So I will just put this in uppercase. Soil not suitable for it. So we have this. So I can just copy this, hit on what? Enter. So now we have this message. So I can just adjust this, adjust this, adjust this. Okay, so I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to do the same thing here as well. So I have what? If error, come here, and then I will paste it. Okay, let me try. I can see the whole formula. I'll just paste it here, right? So I have this. I'll do the same thing for length. If error, then comma, and then I'll paste it because I'm putting in the quote instead of just having to type it again. I will do that, right? On the volume, if error, okay, comma, value, if error. So I'll just paste it to make it faster. Then the concrete volume, the concrete cost, the same thing. If error, I'll paste it. And then, so this has been done. Let me adjust it here because again, this was the formula. So we don't have to put it here because we copied this here. So for the volume here, I'll do that. If error, comma, and I'll paste it and I'll close it. And again, for the concrete cost, I'm going to do that. If error, comma, and I'll paste it. So now we have it. So now I've been able to trap the error. So even if we change this to this, it's going to show. And then when we don't have it here, or we have right, so we're not going to have those error again. And I think we're having our work. Let's go back to the main work. I think that's what this is. This is way bolder. The font size was increased. This is too small. Let me see. This is okay. Increase it again. So this is 48. Yeah, I think 48 is better. Let me see. Okay, let me make it 44. Yeah, I think 44 is better. I just had to just check because that was really the font size was small. Okay. Are we learning? Okay, so we have this. So you can see that there was a border here because of this, right? Okay, so let's go ahead, right? So this has been done. All right, step 15. Place formula in your spreadsheet so that when the letter Y is placed in cell B3, the content of cell in range E8 to G8 are not visible. So if we place Y here in B3, the content here of what? E8 to what? G18 will not be visible. So one way to do this is to use, in fact, the only way to do it is to use conditional formatting. Right? So right here, I'm going to highlight this, right? From E8 to G18. Come here to conditional formatting, new rule. And I'll use a formula to determine which cell to format. So right here, the format value, where this formula is true, I would click here and then select this. So if this is equals to what? Y, because they said, so that when the letter Y is entered in cell, this range are not visible. So when this is equals to Y, format, the font here is going to be what? White. The fill here is going to be white. The border here is going to be what? I'm going to click on outline. So I'll outline the border. and then I'll click on what? OK, and I'll click on OK. So now it's not there. Why do we have to make Y? Because of this. So now let's remove it. You can see it's there. Let's put the Y. It's not there. Even if you put the smaller Y, it's not going to be there. But if I delete it, it's there. Does that make sense? So let's proceed. So now they said, let's do for B4. They said if Y is placed in cell B4, the content of cells in the range A8 to C18. A8 to C18. Okay. So A8 to C18. So I'll go to conditional formatting, new, use the formula to determine which cell to format. And right here, I'm going to scroll, and then if B4 is equals to what? In quote, Y, what do we do? Format. The font is going to be white. The fill here is going to be white. The border, of course, click on outline. So click on OK. So anytime we put Y in cell B4, the content of cells in this range A18 to C18 should not show, should not display. So I'll click on OK. Right? So if I put Y here, look at it. It's not there. If I put Y here, look at it. They are not there. Does that make sense? So if I delete it, it will show. And again, if I delete it, it will show. Okay. Save this spreadsheet as QS, that's quantity surveyor assistant 1, followed by your center number underscore candidate number. So I'm going to copy this and then come here, file, save as, browse. So I can just add one, really. It's the same thing. I don't have to really copy, just add one to it. And of course, you're saving as a spreadsheet, that's Excel workbook, right? Okay. So this has been done. Are we learning? Okay. Now, step 16. Test your spreadsheet with the following test data. Let's test it if it's working. Save each test as a spreadsheet with the given file name, followed by your center number underscore candidate number. Example, I've been given this. Okay. So file name, this is the file name and the respective test data. A freestanding wall. So a freestanding wall is yes. Okay. A freestanding wall, 12-meter long build. That's the length. 12 meters long build. Look at it. 12-meter long build. So 12. All right. Built on gravel. That's the soil. On gravel. Okay. In a climate that is never frosty. Built on gravel. We're here. On gravel. In a climate that is never frosty. Never frosty. Okay, so this is it here. All right. That is never frosty. So what are we saving it as? QS2. So file, save as, browse, QS2. Okay, just add the 2 there. All right, so Excel workbook. All right, so this is done. QSA3 says that a building, so a building is yes, so I will delete this. A building is yes. Okay. 4 meters long. 4 meters long. Look at it. 4 meters. So for building, 4, okay, is here. 3 meters wide. Okay. Built on a soft chalk. Okay. Chalk soft. Okay. In a climate that is never frosty. Never frosty. Okay. So what are we saving this as? As 3. So click on File, Save As. You can do it here, or you come here to Browse, and then we do 3, add 3 here. So save. So this is done. A building 4 meters, so building is yes. Okay. 4 meters long and 3 meters wide. That's the length. Wide. Okay. Built on granite. That's the soil. Granite. In a climate that is never frosty. Okay, so this is it here. Okay, so File, Save As. So this is what? 4. Browse. So add 4 here. So I'm going to what? Save my work. So this is done. All right, for QSA 5, a building, so building, yes. 4 meter long, 3 meter wide. Okay. Built on a granite in a climate that is sometimes frosty. In a climate that is sometimes frosty. Okay, so I'm going to save this as what? File, Save As, Browse. This is going to be 5. So this is going to be saved. Okay. So this is done. Okay. Now, there's a problem in the design of this spreadsheet. Now, what are we to do? We are to what? Identify this problem, enter in cell A20 of QSA 5 what the problem is and how would you resolve this problem. So let's see how we can resolve this problem. Now let's even know what is even the problem. Now take note of this. The problem I observe here is that if I put y here and also put y here, you see that everything goes off, and that should not be. So that's the problem, because if I'm doing the freestanding wall and building, yes, everything is empty, right? And if I delete them, everything shows. So what are you constructing? I'm either constructing either a freestanding wall or a building. So there should be a form of restriction to tell me that, okay, you can't do this. You have to choose one. So the problem that I observed is that what? That anytime we enter in you enter y in B3 and B4, what happens? There's what? The cell is what? There's no data is visible. Okay. So let's put this. They said how you resolve this problem. Note, you do not have to correct the problem in your spreadsheet, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Even if I'm not to correct it, I will show you so that in case you are faced with that problem, how do you solve it? Okay. So here in A20 is if we enter y in cells B3 and B4, then no data is visible. Okay. This can be corrected by using a validation rule. And I'm going to show you that rule now. We can also use conditional formatting as well. Right? So now I have A20. So why am I not having Let me go to conditional formatting, manage rules. Okay, so I discovered that this is here. It shouldn't be here. So I'm going to remove it because I said A8 to C18. A8 to C18. So I'll apply it and click on OK. So now I have it here. Okay, so now what I can do is I will wrap it. Okay, so I will do this here. So this, so I can put this in a different line. So alternate enter. Okay, so this can be corrected. So I'll just put full stop. This can be corrected. Okay, so I have this. All right, right. This can be corrected by using a validation rule for that. So let me show you how we can do this. They said what the problem is and how you would resolve the problem. So this, if we enter Y in cell B3 and B4, then no data is visible. This can be corrected by using a validation rule. So let me show you how we can resolve this issue. Now, let me save my work as file, save as. Okay, I'll add 6 to it, save as, browse. So add 6 to it, 6, and then save. So how can we correct this? So what we'll do here is I'll come here to B3. Go to, now you don't need to do this because they said note you do not have to correct the problem in your spreadsheet. So but I want to show you how to do it. So you click on data, come here to what? Data validations. Now under data validation, you're going to do something here, right? You're going to click on what? Custom. Click on custom and we're going to perform a formula, right? So we're going to the formula we're going to enter in this formula. Now you're going to enter a formula that equals to two, we're given a condition that and, okay, so for and, if this is not equals to what? Y, comma, and this, right, is not equals to Y. So this simply means that this must not be equals to Y. This must not be equals to Y. So one of them must not work. Let me click on OK. So now, look at this. Let me delete this. If I put Y here, look at it. No, you can't put Y because there's already Y here. But if I delete this and put Y here and put Y here, it's going to, it was still having that error. So we need to perform that for here as well. So under data validations, switch this to what? Custom, and then remove this, equals to and if this, right, is not equals to Y, comma, and this is not equals to what? Y. And then we'll click on what? Okay. So now, if I delete this and I want to put Y, it's not going to work. No, you already have Y. Why are you putting Y again? Right? And if I delete this and I put Y here, okay, and I want to put Y here, what will it tell me? No, it can't work because there's already Y here. So this is one way we can solve the problem to ensure that two of them does not go blank at all. Because anytime we have a building, look at what they said here. Anytime we have what? Anytime Y is placed in B4, then this should not be visible. And anytime Y is placed here, then this should not be visible. Because again, this is for what? The freestanding wall. Yes. And this is for what? This is for what? For the building. So if I want to put Y here, it's not going to work. And if I delete this one and put y here, I want to put my y here, it's not going to work. So with this, we have been able to solve the problem. Okay, we have been able to not just put it in theory, but you now know how to do it. Does that make sense? So um, this is the end of, okay, this is the end of the spreadsheet. Thank you very much. Hope you have been able to learn a lot. So please do well to share this with your friends and your classmates so they can learn as well. And please do well to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get the very best of what we do here across IGCSE and A levels, even your AQA. And if you have not enrolled into our private tutoring, and I don't know what you're waiting for, we have one of the best tutoring service in the world. So do well to tell your friends about it so they can enroll and get the very best in IGCSE, in A levels, in GCSE. You cannot afford to miss it. All right. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.